Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Mayhem Show with Mark May. Episode 29 with McLain McGuire. We got 5 minutes left on the Kickstarter, guys. Had to come to you a little early tonight. Get that Kickstarter push in there because we are literally 5 minutes away from the end of the Hellbringers, The Ties That Bind Us campaign. Guys, if you haven't checked it out yet, please go to Kickstarter. It is the last Hellbringers book of the year that we're going to be putting out. The big return in 2022. And there is tons of secrets in this one that you're not going to want to miss. Tons of action. It's a great story. We got great covers. We got great artists for the interiors. If you haven't read a Hellbringers book yet, it's basically Game of Thrones in hell. Lucifer is left. There's chaos. Everybody's trying to vie for power to be the ruler of hell. It's a great book. Like I said, check it out. You got 5 minutes left. You can check out all the magic we made at Silent Mayhem Productions with the Hellbringers team. $8,000, guys. That is what we are at right now, and I really appreciate that. It says 10 minutes left. So at 7:05 Mountain Time, this bad boy is going to be done and over with. So, Lewis Perry will be coming back and joining us tonight, as well as Mr. McLain McGuire. Guys, without any further ado, we're going to go ahead and get this intro going. Go back to Kickstarter while we got the intro on. I promise you're going to... right, guys. That's it. We're going to play a couple videos before we bring on our guest here. Remember, we got 4 minutes right now. 4 minutes. This is the end, guys. The last one. Let's check this out. I wrote this song. It is performed by Eric Castiglia. Oh, just kidding. This is Lucio Perillo cover right now. That's what this is. All right, ladies and gentlemen, just a little preview of the setup we got going on for the sweet Shannon Mayer books. Dawn of the Devil, Jengar and Shred, Hellpug, Hellbringers, the Ties That Bind Us, and some of the Sacred Heart as well. You can catch us all on the con scene this year, with the next convention being at Colorado Springs. Guys, I hope you're having a great night tonight. Welcome to the show. We just finished up the Kickstarter here. Let's see. We're counting it down as we speak. 51 seconds to go. 51 seconds. $8,000. 120% funded. 114 backers. You guys are amazing. I love you all. That was the last Hellbringers book we were going to do of the year. 30 seconds left. We can all start just celebrating right now because it is a great day for comics, for independent comics. Guys, we're going to have Louis Perry on here in just a second, but without any further ado, I am going to go ahead and bring on our special guest of the evening, Mr. McLain McGuire. What's up, buddy?
What's up, man? How you doing?
Good. I'm really good, man. First off, awesome show this past weekend.
Oh, thank you.
If you know a guy that was putting on a great show, it's this guy right here, ladies and gentlemen. Cowtown Comic-Con. You got to go check it out.
It wasn't just me. It was Chris Hayes and
Chris Hayes as well, and company. Awesome folks. McLean, we just got funded, my friend. It just got funded.
Yeah, I was watching it. It went really well. Really good,
I can breathe. I can breathe a little better now. Oh my God. I was scared there at the end. I was scared. Oh man.
It's always tormenting towards the end.
It's always a tormenting little process for sure. Dude, first off, have you ever eaten at, what was it, Mama's Pizza in Fort Worth, Texas?
I don't think I have.
It is awesome. Like, out of all the pizza places that I've ever ate in the city, I think that was the best one. Yeah, if you ever get a chance, check it out. Always on the show, we start out by asking the really hard question: what is your favorite convention to go for food? What is your favorite place to eat? And what is your favorite city, convention-wise, for the food?
So you cut out on me. What did you say in the beginning?
Oh, what is your favorite place to eat at a convention?
What is my favorite place to eat at a convention? Or
yeah,
afterward?
What city as well? Like not necessarily like a fast food chain or something like that, but what's your all-time favorite place to eat convention-wise? Like what city would you go to for a con just to get food?
Oh man. So I was just having this conversation with a buddy of mine. If anybody's done the Repop Show New York Comic Con, basically about 2 blocks, if you're facing the Javits Center, 2 blocks on your right, is a little mixed up grocery store / deli called Sunak. And that, if I could live in New York, I would want to eat there every day. Every day.
What do you get?
Well, you can get anything. So every culture of food that you can think of, they have there. And every year that I go, aside from 2020, this year would be my 10th year. Oh yeah, Ken's right. We're going. I told Ken all about it. I laid out a map of Sunak to Ken, and I was like, we have to do this, like morning to night, bro. And so it's a collective of different cultures. New York is a collective of different cultures. So you have, Asian, Chinese, you have, Czech food, you have, South African food there, down to the basics of your New York USA food, which is, like your sandwiches, your pizzas, your deli stuff, even coffees. And on top of that, there's a grocery store attached to it. So like if you didn't want their deli food, you can do their groceries. And so I try to eat right when I'm in New York. And so because there's so much walking going on. So I literally will go in there in the morning before, like 2 hours before, because it's 24 hours. So I'll go in there 2 hours before the show starts every morning and get a sausage egg something. And then when I leave the show at like 7 or 8 o'clock at night, it's like a buffet. You can build. It has a salad buffet, salad and meat buffet type thing, and you can build your meals and you put it in these to-go containers, and then they weigh it, and then you leave. So literally $30 a night of salad is what I eat, and it's crazy, but it's really good, and that's my go-to right there. I mean, I never really eat foods at conventions, but if they put that particular sumac place inside of a convention, I would be doomed. Yeah,
That'd be the one you'd go to all the time, huh?
yeah, I wouldn't be at my booth.
So, what was your favorite part of this past weekend at Cowtown Comic Con?
So my favorite part was the acknowledgement of the fans, the community of vendors and artists, and the satisfaction that everybody had that, myself, Chris, and Kim, it takes us a year to build those shows. And I mean, we're doing something daily to accommodate for the satisfaction of the fans and the vendors and the artists. And I say fans first, even though we're pulling in the artists and vendors and creators and people like that first, but it's up to us to find the perfect people for the show, the vendors, artists, and guests, and everybody, to accommodate the satisfaction for the fans. And myself and Chris and Kim, we're talking on a daily basis, especially towards the last 2 or 3 months before the show. We're like, what are we forgetting? What do we need to do? We're pulling people on, and thanks to the amazing staff that we had at Cowtown Comic Con, those guys worked their asses off. And the volunteers, man, I have never seen anybody work as hard. Those guys were great. We had one security guy, and that guy was a beast. I mean, it was wonderful. And you guys that were in the lobbies and the main halls, I mean, you guys were amazing. The fans I'm still getting messages from fans about everybody at the show. Like, there was no negativity at all. It was all positive. And, as hard as we work to build something for the fans, because we're not building a multi-show, we're building a Comic-Con. We want you to walk in there. I was just having this discussion with my buddy Ken today. It's like, you walk in there and you should feel like this is a Comic-Con, geared towards Comic-Cons. We had somebody, and I'm going to use the word crazy, is I looked at the hook guy. He rocked. Ken put all the hooks on the pipes and drapes so I could hang the signs. And that guy's a beast. But, we had a fan come to the show because we had grading going on at the show, and literally take a Walking Dead #1 in a CGC case and bust it open just to get it reslabbed and regraded, and it was crazy things like that, where you look at everything and you look at all these vendors booth, and there's rows of white boxes everywhere and comics everywhere. And then you got your talent, like you guys were there rocking it out. Your booth looked amazing.
Thank you.
And you had Mayhem right down the street from you. You had Steve Garcia right across there.
Steve's great, by the way, man. That was the first time we ever met. I love Steve.
The guy's a monster, dude. His work
he got the rest of the pizza. Nobody else.
The pizza tech.
It is the best pizza, man. I'm trying to share the wealth of my pizza. Nobody wanted it.
That was awesome. And and you walk into the main hall, and it's like right to left, you had nothing but creators, artists, writers, inkers, colorists. We had Tony Fleece, Tone Rodriguez there. We had DJ Hall, Ken Salinas, David Sanchez, Lynn Kelly. Dork Buzz. Miko was there. Miko was so great. Thanks to Nelson. Monster Slayer. All those guys, when you walk into that convention hall, you're like, holy crap, I'm at a Comic-Con.
Mm-hmm.
So, I couldn't ask it anything more. I mean, you guys as vendors and artists did amazing, and the fans were just incredible. And I mean, Kim and Chris, they were all over the place. My wife helped out this year, and
Dude, I didn't even get a chance. I didn't get a chance to meet your wife. I didn't realize that's who that was for a second.
Yeah,
next time we're all in the building together, we all gotta do intros.
Yeah, absolutely. Ladies. I thought she made her rounds, but she might not have. Here's my kids. This is my son, Keegan.
What's up, Keegan?
Say what's up, man. That's it. That's all you get.
That's all I get. That's fine. That's better than my kid gives me half the time. So,
yeah.
So, who's this?
This is Eva. Say hi.
Eva. Hi.
Hi.
Everybody's getting ready to go night because they go to academy twice a week, and so tomorrow's their academy, so they're super pumped, right, to go see your friends and draw and do activities and science and math. And
we don't do science.
Oh, we don't do science anymore, sorry. So okay, well, I'm gonna let you guys go night. Give everybody a hug. Good night. See ya.
Hey guys, good to meet you.
They're
so
yes. Sorry. One more. There you go, buddy. Good night. See you in the morning.
So let me ask you this. Well, I only got one regret from the show, and that's not being able to get in the picture at the end. But we had to. We left right at the closing time, right when it was time to close, and there was one reason and one reason only for that, and that was to get to Amarillo so I could eat at my favorite restaurant in the world before it closed, and I made it for 20 minutes.
Did you really? Wow.
Minutes.
What did you eat?
It's the Big Texan Steakhouse.
No, what did you eat there, though?
They have a $31 special where you get these two little filet mignons, but I'm a huge fan of the rolls there, and so I just hammered all the rolls. I think I had like 18 rolls, man.
Ooh.
Yeah.
It's a lot of carbs.
Hell yeah, dude. I mean, have you seen me? This is all carbs right here, buddy. All carbs. I got to get on your diet. I got to. All right, so let's move on and let's get this show and ball rolling here. How did you get into comics, my friend?
So I got into comics sort of by accident. So I worked at a comic book shop local here in Austin, and I wouldn't say, yeah, I know, Ryan. I hear you, bro. Sunak, Ryan, you should go there. So I was working at a comic book shop, and the owner always talked about having artists come in looking for writers coming in looking for artists, that whole thing. And when I started working there, I saw it a lot, like writers would come in and be like, man, I'd love to get my own comic book out, and I just need a great artist. And artists would come in and, man, I'm looking for a writer to help me script and storyboard and stuff like that. And so we put together a connection program to connect these people free of charge, no charge for anything. We had meetings at that store for a while. I think we started out with 6 or 8 people. We had half writers, half artists. It was so great, man. It was a lot of fun. When we started the program, we built our first anthology, which was like a 40-page anthology. I think it was 40 pages. And I think we built it in like a month and a half to 2 months. And it was an amazing train wreck, but it was awesome. And but we learned a lot. And so that wasn't really by accident. That was a meant to be thing. But when the book was put together, I was already a designer and an artist as it is. I've done work for various publishing companies as well as commercial programs and companies. I did some inline credits work for like Marvel and a couple other companies way before this, just getting my feet wet as a designer. And so this was kind of a different mode. And so when the book was drawn, the anthology that we did, when it was drawn and put together, I remember somebody in the group said, "Oh, now we have to have somebody letter it." And I actually I knew what that term was, but I didn't know what it meant, like what was the process. And so a friend of mine, a really good friend of mine that taught me how to letter, um, her name is Rita Moore. She's a fantastic painter and artist. And so she gave me the basics, the logistics and the basics of Illustrator and how to letter, and would give me pointers here and there and stuff like that. It grew into something that I really love to do. And I love to be on the ending point of the whole production because I get to see everything come together. And so at the same time, I was doing printing. Printing was changing in so many different formats. I think I messed up more printing than I actually succeeded on within a 5-year period of all that because I was learning more of the digital process of it. And so that made my lettering part even better and more exciting because then I could take those pages that I letter and I could set them up for printing the proper way, whatever printer the publishers were using, and help out in that direction and still be on the final cusp of the book, the final production of the book being done. And that's exciting to me. I like being on the ending point, the beginning and the ending point of projects, and because you get to see it come together, and I'm all about creativity and stuff like that. So I love to be in the final production parts of it and seeing it come together and come alive. And so I'd lettered a bunch of books in the CCP program, CCP Comics program, which I still own to this day. And it's called Comics Creators Publishers. So we would help each other create our own books and stuff like that, get them out there, whether it was getting inside of another publisher's hands or us self-publishing it the best we could, doing all the legwork, all the printing and stuff like that. So I did that. I still do it to this day, but I did that for the first probably like 7 or 8 years strong. And we started, I think, 2006, 2007. And from that point, I started meeting people along the way that would need letterers. And I would just say, "Oh, yeah, hey, I'll letter your book," and I, just trying to get my feel out there. I met Russ Wooten, that does the letters for Walking Dead, Invincible, all those Image titles. I met him at a show, and him and I got to talking, and he gave me a lot of really cool pointers, and I would show him some of my work, and he would criticize it and help me build it a little bit better. And then once the Image title Chew came out, I started talking to John Layman a lot, and he's a really great letterer himself, and he would give me pointers as well. And it helped me build what I wanted to do. But, one thing I didn't listen to was they said, you just like an artist, you got to find your niche and you got to find your style. And then that's when you really appreciate and enjoy what you do. And so, I've been doing this since 2006 or 7, like I said. So going on about 13, 14 years. In about 2018, 2019, early 2019, I think it was, I just got the job with the Cableman guys at Emerald Dark, and Andrew Mangum and all those guys were so fun to work with. His brother Dave, the publishing's fun to work with. And the first thing I said was, like any job interview, I said, "Well, how do you want me to letter your book?" And they were like, "Why would you ask me that? Just do what you do." And I was like, wow, I don't know what that means, So I did it, and they loved it. And so then a few months later, my wife signs me up for this small community show that, I felt like I had to practically beg the promoter to let me, be there, because he had saw some of my older work, and he saw my name on the Marvel titles, or not on the titles, but in that particular scene and the Image and the Valiants. And he was like, "No, this guy's way too big to have at my show." And I'm like, "What are you talking about? I'm just a letterer. That's ridiculous." And so his name is Chris Hayes, you know him. So I went to his community show. It was a one-day show in Watauga, Texas. And he got to talking to me, and he had all these story ideas, and so I was like, dude, let's do it. Let's make your book. And he was like, what? And I said, yeah, let's make your book. Who cares? Let's just do it. And so he was one of those people that brought me in, and I was able to kind of give him some guidance and stuff like that, and some know-how, and the proper tools and knowledge on how to do what he needs to do. He's out there getting the artists to draw his books, and I'm lettering them, doing project managing and stuff like that. And it allowed me to spread my wings and develop the style that I was really looking for. And I've worked on, I think, now 11 titles with that guy, which by the end of the year probably will be about 16. And I would never look back at all. I mean, that working with that guy has opened doors for me like you wouldn't believe, because then the word gets out that I'm working on these, books and everything like that. And then I get calls from like Marat Michaels or, Ryan Kincaid and stuff like that, Rob Liefeld as of earlier this year. And it's just like, man, it's crazy. And, it's like Chad reached out to me for your book in the very beginning, and that was super cool, awkward at the same time, when somebody at his caliber and your caliber reach out to me and say, well, hey, do you still do that lettering thing? Like, yeah, that's cool. That's neat that somebody's asking me like that. Same thing with Kincaid. I always give him a hard time because he was like, hey, do you do that lettering thing still? Like, yeah, I don't think it's going to stop, and so, but it's so great. Oh, Brittany Lawson, that's awesome. She owns BNS Comics, and they are amazing. And so working with Chris has allowed me to basically develop my style and lettering. And then once you guys came along and had me working on your books, it was kind of the same contrast. It was a little crazy in the beginning because there was a lot of different elements to the book and trying to figure out what's going to be best for it. But once we got that down, the last 3 books have been phenomenal. Just you guys have still opened that door and let me kind of do my thing. And it's I don't know, man. I went from like in 2017-18 working on about 6 titles a year to 2019 working on about I would say in 2019 I worked on probably about 15 titles.
Wow.
And then 2020, imagine this, 2020 is when everything went to shit, and I cleared 21 titles in 1 year. And this year alone, we're sitting in the middle of the year in July, and I'm already sitting at 20 titles completed.
Wow.
So
wow, it's incredible.
It's because of people like yourself, Chris Hayes. I mean, that dude just let me go in there and do what I think was best, and that's how we developed Charter Comics and cranked out all these comics and stuff like that. I mean, every day him and I talk every morning, and it's always something new, and it's always something. What are we going to do next? What do we want? I mean, literally 2 hours ago, he calls me and he's like, man, I got this idea. What do you think? And we're tossing around this idea. Boom, got another book, and just like, it's all about, and I think I've told you this, it's all about staying consistent and keeping the books cranked out. And I mean, I feel like I'm at a level now, like it's just and keeping the books cranked out. So,
well, I mean, one of the things I guess that I've really appreciated having a chance to work with you is your sense of professionalism. Seems to be like something that I learned from. Like, just the way you talk to people, I've picked up on that. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. You're kind of like a mentor to me in some ways. And while I work with you, I also learn from you. And it's pretty nice to have. I'm not gonna lie. Like, you're not just the everyday letterer. You know what I mean? Like you bring wisdom and knowledge to the position that you otherwise wouldn't have. in other positions. It's almost like playing an RPG game, and instead of like one of your like characters that should be like right here, it's the guy that's murking everybody that's over here. You know what I mean? Like that's what I compare you as, and it's great to have you. It's gonna be great to continue to have you with all the future Hellbringers books that we'll be doing next year,
Awesome.
and all the books that we'll have come in titles in between that aren't even Hellbringers books. So I
Well,
value.
the issue, I think there. I mean, I'm sure there's many issues, but the issues with the comic industry is that I think people are too busy competing than trying to help. And that's the thing I want to erase. I mean, I'm not going to be able to erase it all, but that's one of the things I want to try to erase completely is like in my doings is like, man, I don't charge people for advice and help. I just want to watch them succeed. I mean, everybody has some sort of dream to do something. And, I worked in the music industry long enough and watched, lives crumble around me, including my own at times. And that is just not how you treat people. You should help people, give people a little value and a little bit of time, and, some people just need a couple words. Some people just need an hour conversation. It doesn't take long to help people out, and I think that's a missed opportunity overall with people in the comic book industry. And, if I get, hate mail for that, that's fine. But, that's just my thing is like everyone should be helping everyone out, so.
That's definitely something a lot of people can learn from, especially in this industry. If you look at it as these guys are your peers, they're your friends, they're not out to get you. It makes it a little easier. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
And to be friends with other creators isn't a bad thing, guys. Because here's the thing: is you can get knowledge, you can get information on where to print, you can get information on different cover artists that they use, stuff like that. I mean, there's all sorts of stuff as a publisher you can get as an artist.
Absolutely. I mean, and you see the comment that Chris Hayes just made is pull up a chair. The reason why he says that is because him and I have told people countless of times, bro, we got this giant round table. And if you don't see a chair there, you let us know. We'll go grab one and we'll pull one up for you and let you sit down at our table. Because we're all about the value of people and helping people and doing what we can. So
let's move on to the next series of questions here. So this is how you got into the industry. What's your favorite project? And I'm not trying to put you on the spot on this one, but what's your favorite project that you've done so far in this industry?
Wow, that's
I know it's tough. I know it's
a tough one because I want to win brownie points with you and Chris at the same time. No, I'm kidding. One of my favorite projects by far, I've always wanted to work on horror comics for years. And when Chris came along and he was writing all these horror comics, I was like, man, this is an opportunity to butcher the shit out of everything, And then I also wanted to work on fantasy books too, and you bring that to the table. Now, my all-time favorite would have to be one of my own. I've never had a chance to release the book or even have an artist to draw it, but I have this cool killer story that I think would do really great. And I think if I ever took the time to hunt down a really good artist to draw it, it would be a fan favorite because I'm a historian, and the book that I've worked on and have had help writing circles all kinds of history as well as future stuff that we could be binded in. And basically it's the same kind of thing we were just talking about with, helping people and things like that. And basically, if I can get any chance to work on anything that has my four favorite things, which is and it's going to make you smile, Mark. But anybody that knows me truly well knows that I love to work on, and I have a love for four different things: space, time travel, dinosaurs, and robots. And I love stuff like that. And one of my fan favorites is also horror, which those four combined. And so, being that I worked on, oh yeah, that's awesome. That's super cool.
Trolley the Trollobite makes an appearance on the show tonight via McLean's love of dinosaurs and fossils,
That's
ladies
awesome.
and gentlemen.
That is
Trolley
super
the
cool.
Trollobite.
That's what Ryan Palmer dinosaurs. That's what I love. And I remember when I got the first script for Cave Woman and the pages from Mangum, which is a fantastic artist. I was like, wow, boobies, but at the same time I was like, wow, dinosaurs. So I was more intrigued to, Letter the Dinosaurs. We need a combo with vampire dinosaurs back to life. Dang. Would that even work though? I mean, think about it.
Read Jengar and Shred, folks. We read Jengar and Shred.
That's another thing. It's like when you toss me that script and I'm reading through the script and then you're like, well, here's some pages. I was like, holy crap! 95% of this book was dinosaurs. I mean, that spread page where she's basically bathing in the river and that brontosaurus is like, it's going right across the page. I was like, I just want to sit here and letter this page all day, but it only has 2 bubbles. It's just like anything that I can get. I'll be honest with you, I have never lettered a time traveling book. Oh, no, wait, I take it back. I did 12 years ago, a book by a really great writer named Rob Bass. He did a book called Just in Time and Jenny Power. And I lettered that book in my earlier days. So I did do that. But, space, time travel, dinosaurs, and robots. So,
dude, you need like a Transformers story, like stat. Would you like working on Transformers?
the comic book stories? Oh yeah, shit, man. Let me tell you something, dude. In my closet right now, I have the original Optimus Prime.
What?
From when I was a kid.
Oh wow, wow.
There's a reason why I am the way I am with comic books and toys and stuff. I grew up with folks that we were dirt poor until I was in my late years in high school, and I gotta tell you, man, I'd wake up when I was 6 or 7, and for Christmas, walk out under the Christmas tree, and there would be just like one year. I remember it was just nothing but Death Star, X-Wings, Yoda's hut. Y'all remember Yoda's little hut, the Ewok village and everything like that. Then the next year it was G.I. Joe Fortress with Cobra Commander and all the trucks and wheels. And then one year it was Back to the Future. My folks made sure that we were sci-fi nerds. And my family's motto and they were dead serious. It's like, if you didn't like Star Wars, you didn't belong in their house. And you're talking about a Scots and an Irish family. And if you didn't like Star Wars or couldn't even answer questions about Star Wars, you probably didn't belong in our house. It was crazy. And so, of course, that's, we're a Star Wars family now with my kids and stuff like that. But, oh yeah, man, to letter a Transformers book, dude, I'd be in heaven. That'd be awesome. I've had a lot of great opportunities. Never working on horror books and being able to work with Chris is just constantly just like boom, 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 boom. Working on fantasy books that I've never thought I would ever be able to have a chance to work on, or work on your books and stuff like that. Yeah, dude, bring on the Transformers. I'll do what I can.
My goal in life is G.I. Joe anything. If I could just make a G.I. Joe cover, or you know what? G.I. Joe's actually something I would do interiors for. Like if they were like, you need to learn to do interiors, like, man, I already figured it out. I figured it out an hour ago just because it's this book. You know what I mean?
G.I. Joe has my heart because my old man worked in Kuwait for about 20 years. He was an oil rig, a manager mechanic oil rig on oil rigs in Kuwait. And so he was like 30 days on, 30 days off. And so he would fly into Amsterdam and then go into Kuwait. And so every time he would fly out or come home to the States, because I think we were in the States. That was when I was about 6 or 7. So we were already in the States around that time. And so he would fly into Amsterdam, or he would fly from Kuwait to Amsterdam to come to the States. And ironically, there was a comic book shop in Amsterdam's airport. And so the first comic book he ever brought home, which I have it on my wall up here, was G.I. Joe #1.
Wow.
Yeah. And he was just like, dude, if you like all the toys, look at this. And I was like, what? I'm like, and I read it. I mean, you look at it on the wall and it's like, it's probably like a 4.0. Now, I'm a collector. So about 25 years ago, I found a 9.8, and I have that in my little secret stash. But I look at this every time, and I will never forget my dad coming home and pulling it out of that bag, and he was like, dude, if you like all those action figures, you're going to love this. And he was like, boom. And I was like, what? And so like I just collected them religiously, and so great.
So I remember the thing I got for learning how to tie my shoes was the Cobra, or was it Ray boat, and I thought it was like the coolest thing ever. In Alabama, like same story with you, like yours. Like we were dirt poor up until probably got out of high school too, and I would get G.I. Joes as hand-me-downs basically from like just any store we could find them that had them. I loved them because you could pose them in a like way that they look like they were like wrestling action figures. You know what I mean? So it'd always be like, oh, this is Hulk Hogan, or this is Macho Man, and you'd have them fight, and they look nothing like them. But that would always be my thing. As a kid, what was your favorite fandom as a kid? Then was it Star Wars?
Yeah, it was Star Wars, and so, man, I wish my pop was tech savvy so he could watch these interviews, because he's like, "Do you ever talk about us on these interviews?" I'm like, "All the time, Dad, all the time," but he doesn't believe me. So
the great thing about this one is it's on YouTube, so he can actually watch it on YouTube if he can figure.
That would mean he would have to take time from Call of Duty on his computer just to,
nice.
So that's probably not going to work for him. No, but so I showed Chris Hayes this about a year ago, and I think he almost shit his pants. But I always tell the story of like being a Star Wars family and growing up as a Star Wars family, and I've never ever seen a Star Wars movie in a giant theater. So, I mean, other than episode 1, 2, and 3, but there's that. But the first 3 that we grew up on, but I actually, because we're a Star Wars family and that was our fandom thing, as I got older and could understand it a little bit more than what I already did, and have all the action figures, my dad would mysteriously every other birthday come up with this tube. And I remember it was about 1985 or 86 he came up with his first tube. Now, keep in mind, the first 3 Star Wars were done by this time. And I think Return of the Jedi is already 2 or 3 years out. And I had a birthday, and I was probably turning like 10 or something. I don't remember. And my dad said, look, when you turn 18, I'm going to give you this tube. But this tube is for your birthday, and I want to show you what it is. And I was like, oh, great. He opens the tube, rolls it out, and it's the original movie poster to A New Hope, brand spanking new. And I was like, oh my God, Dad, how did you get this? And he was like, don't even ask. Like, it was always a mafia answer. It was like, don't even ask, oh geez, there's probably some bodies in concrete somewhere, that didn't work out in California or something. But but he worked on these whole rigs, so like it was kind of confusing. Like, how did he come up with this? But anyway, so he'd have it in a tube. 2 years later, for my birthday, he's like, check this out. Because we were not only Star Wars families, but we were Indiana Jones and stuff like that. And so like 2 years later, he was like, hey man, you just make sure that you take responsibility. You won't open this one until you're 18 either. Boom, he pulls out a tube. It's Raiders of the Lost Ark, original poster. And then it was like Empire Strikes Back. And then it was like, Return of the Jedi. And then it was like, over and over and over, like the Back to the Future original poster and stuff like that. And so I have all these in frames, and I was showing them to Chris not too long ago because I was like, dude, look at them. You can still see the printing marks where they pulled them into the printing machine and stuff like that. And we're talking about posters that are worth thousands of dollars. And luckily for me, I was at a show about 10 or 12 years ago, and I have no idea why I brought my Return of the Jedi poster. I think it's because there was going to be like a robot something character there or something like that. And I was like, oh, I'll just get the robot guy to sign the back of my poster. And ended up the hit of the show was Carrie Fisher. And so I got to meet her, and I told her my story about being a Star Wars family and that we, came overseas and, to America. And we've just always been this really great Star Wars family and stuff like that. And she was just like, I love it so much. And didn't even charge me, flipped over the poster and signed really big on the white part of my Return of the Jedi poster. Because when she was about to sign it, I was like, oh, can you sign it on the back? And she was like, really? And I was like, yeah, because I'm probably not going to show anybody, but I don't want to mess up the front, because I had them in these badass frames,
Uh-huh.
She was just like, okay, weirdo, but as she was holding her dog, I remember she's like, oh, and so that was really cool. And so ever since I find stuff that I really love, like I love Spider-Man. So I own all of the original posters to the Spider-Man movies, including the 9/11 one that they took off the shelves. And it's actually signed by the entire cast of Spider-Man, like Kirsten Dunst, McGuire, and all these guys. Yeah, it's really cool. And I also have the original, like, just show you how much of a nerd I is. I have the original trailer strip of, if y'all remember, back in 2001, before 9/11, the original trailer was these guys go rob a bank in the Twin Towers, in a building near the Twin Towers, and they rob the bank and they go up to the elevator all the way to the top, and they're in a helicopter. They jump on this helicopter and they're like, "Oh, we're getting out of here!" Blah blah blah, and they're screaming through the city of New York, and all of a sudden their helicopter's like, and it hits a big web, and it's the Twin Towers with the helicopter stuck in the web, and that was the first trailer for Spider-Man. And so I have all that film strip on the back of that poster, and that was really cool. So I'm a huge poster collector, and so, but my all-time fandom is Star Wars. You can ask Chris. I talk his face off on Star Wars all the time. I read all the comics. I have all the comics, and I try to collect as many of the magazines as I can. And I actually auditioned for 2 Star Wars movies just to be some weirdo. I didn't even know what I wanted to be. I just showed up and I was like, I'll be anybody. And they're like, do you have any acting experience? No. Okay, well, get this guy out of here. Okay.
Hey, that's cool that you found it to where you could do it, though. I mean,
yeah,
dude,
it was a lot of fun.
Dude, that would be awesome.
That would be awesome. I could tell everybody that's me, the guy, 47th in the back. That's me.
If there was ever an extra I'd want to be in a series, it would be Star Wars, because those dudes, I mean, dude, they make it to conventions as a guest all the time. You know what I mean? God, it has been almost an hour already. I only got 11 minutes left with you, brother. Let me ask you this. We know where you've been so far. I mean, all the interviews that we could probably do, we could probably cover all that, and I'm sure you've done it before, but let me ask you this question. Where do you want to go? What do you feel like, what's next?
I want to drive the Korean comics train with Chris Hayes and our team more and more. I want to crank out more books, as well as, with him, as well as with all the other creators that I work on books with. I think my ultimate goal in life is to one day walk into a comic book shop and pick up an Image or even Marvel comic and open it up and see my name on the credits as a letterer. I mean, you could be a million different things, but I'd like to be a letterer. And I know Marvel uses a lot of the FCO guys, but I think that would not complete my life, because I don't think I'm ever going to be complete, because I love the drive. I love the creating comics. Every time, I work real close with Chris, so that's why I bring him up a lot. But every time he has an idea, I'm just like, I don't know how this guy has so many ideas, but I just want to make sure every one of them work, and I'm pretty sure at times him and I are flat broke, but then we're like, let's crank out 3 more books, and it's just like, sweet, and I don't think there ever is an end, I love what I do and I don't want to ever stop, but I think I would, be very smiley if I was able to do something and have my name on an Image book or a Marvel book. Only, and I don't mean to exclude any of the other guys. I love Vault, I love Aftershock and Valiant and all those guys. I love those teams a lot. But I've always read Image and Marvel titles, and when I got to build a credits page for a graphic novel with Marvel, I think it was a little over 7 or 8 years ago. I never got credit for it, which was fine. But I remember taking it to my folks, and I was like, this is the graphic novel that I worked on, and I built this credits page and this ad page, and they were like, cool, where's your name? And I was like, well, there was this situation, and, it's like, I would like to flip it open and be like, it's right here. It's right here. I build my life on satisfying my folks more than anything, because they're huge supporters of mine, and they're the reason why I walked into the music industry like I did, and they're the reason why I'm reading comics and making comics and having fun with it. So I mean, I couldn't imagine, other than my immediate family, my wife and my kids. My wife's a huge supporter too. I mean, I was just thanking her the other day, because I've been with her for now 11 or 12 years, and I couldn't ask for anything more. Like, she's always pushing me. Just when I'm like, hey, I'm going to take a break, she's like, no, you're not. You got to do this. I'm like, well, wives usually don't say that kind of stuff. So, but no, she's a huge supporter. Oh, look, Steven Garcia's on here. Too many sexy art bastards packed into one show. Love you, brothers. Well, he's sexy too. That dude is sexy.
Bringing the sexy on the Mayhem show tonight, ladies and gentlemen, all the way around.
You have to.
You have to indeed. Guys, McLean, if you haven't known where you can catch him yet, McLean, why don't you tell them where they can catch you on social media?
It's super easy. You guys can see my name here. It's McLain McGuire. It's everything: Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. I need to build my kahunas together. I've built an entire website that I've built over the past 6 or 7 months, and I feel like that if I hit the launch button, that something crazy is going to happen, bad juju. So I haven't hit it. So, but there is a www.mcleanmcguire.com. And TikTok. It's just my name, so you can find me everywhere.
Well, all right, guys. You heard it right there. Don't forget, at the link down here at the bottom is the Pray for the Sinner 2 campaign. Now that mine is over with, go back the hell out of Marat Michaels' campaign. Yeah. That dude is great. And I wanted to show you that. Guys, no Lewis here to cut a promo tonight. So, McLean, do you feel like cutting a wrestling promo?
What promo?
A wrestling promo.
A wrestling? How do we do that?
You just come on. You're like, the Mayhem show, Mark, man. That's how Lewis does. He's always like, just the Mayhem show, Mark, man.
I have such a great voice for that, but 2 doors down is my kids sleeping, so they would probably wake up and be like, "What is wrong with you, Dad? You lost your damn mind." I did that on somebody's show one time where they were like, "Hey, can you do a plug?" And so I did this really funny voice, and my 6-year-old came in and he was like, "What are you doing? We're supposed to be sleeping." I'm like, "Sorry, just having fun."
That's fantastic.
So kids lose. You would have to do that, because my wife would probably strangle me if I did that.
It's so funny. Ken Solana said so. Rules.
Hey, Ken and I met this dude that bought some artwork from us, and his name was O'Doul. And I was just like, I didn't know how to take it. I was being so unprofessional. And I was like, go do our rules. We'll take your money.
Well, McLean, this isn't going to be the only time you're on the show. Obviously, you're going to be a return guest,
Cool.
so we're going to have you back on here to talk more about your career and everything you got going on as it comes out. I appreciate it again for this past weekend. I love coming out to Texas. Texas is my favorite state in the
Thank
U.S.
you for being a part of the show. We really appreciate it. I think I can speak for Kim and Chris when I say it was an absolutely pleasure to have you sitting there at that booth and working your magic. I mean, that was awesome.
I have to contribute it all to the brand new setup we got with the lanterns, ladies and gentlemen, and the box that I've got sitting right here, so everybody can see how awesome it is.
That's awesome. That cover is legit.
I'm happy that we've been able to work with so many amazing cover artists and interior artists and people like you and people like Russ and Becky Fuller, all the people that we've had a chance to work with. It's been amazing. It's been, tell you the truth, McLean, from the first time you met me in 2015 to this day right here, I'm a completely different person than the person that I was that day. You know what I mean?
Cool.
And the way that it's worked out has just been, great.
When you surround yourself by people that have more or just as much respect as you do for other people, and you just surround yourself with positive, good people, then you grow into a different person sometimes. So,
well, that's kind of what it's felt like, but it's all been for the better. Ken Salinas says, good night, fellas. Great seeing you this past weekend, Mark. It was great seeing you too, Ken. It was great seeing you too, Ken. McLean, you want to watch a video with me real quick?
Yeah, let's watch a video.
Let's pay homage to the KS being funded tonight. This is the last time I ever have to play this video. I wrote this song. Eric Castiglia is performing.
She seeks her husband, the devil. With a natural travel to the ancient capital of Cito de la Fe. They sneak in through the volcanoes, live and across God's eyes. And not navigate underground into dark cave. Well, Lily has a secret in her chamber of penance. One for the Venus armor and weapons. From around the fire now, persistence. These are the time that bind us. Between all we know that will take us far. These are the time that bind us. To wage war against the enemies, Lucifer, Morning Star. Into the town, through the underground gates, meets a new warrior monk.
Ron Charles Williams, absolutely incredible.
Dagger in the throat of Ravenna, death war, surrounded by arches, demon gods, with bow, drum, and sword. Out with the bullet traitor, kiss Ravenna and Valakut, even says his last fellow slow goodbye. These are the time that bind us. Between all we know that will take us far. These are the time that
a little
California.
short.
It's the fallen
Just
angel
I
Christopher
want you to
Daniels.
hear your
Now,
name
anyone
here.
that's followed my career knows that in addition to being a professional wrestler, I'm also a huge comic book fan. Now, usually I'm a Marvel guy, but I'm also very appreciative of the guys out there making their own comics, doing independent comics, doing it themselves. With that in mind, I want to talk to you today about Silent Mayhem Productions. They're the guys behind Hellbringers, the card game, and Hellbringers, Sacred Heart, and Dawn of the Devil. Now, the next chapter in the Hellbringers saga is coming out, and it's called The Ties That Bind Us. And the guys behind the series, the writer Mark May, artist Ron Charles Williams, colors by Becky Fuller, letters by McLain McGuire, and the cover art and the graphic design by Russ Cassidy. These are the guys that are bringing the next chapter to life. On June 28th, they've got a Kickstarter to help fund the next chapter of Hellbringers. So go to silentmayhemproductions.com. Keep in touch, keep involved with the Kickstarter coming up. And guys, I just want to tell you best of luck with the new chapter. Keep making great comic books, and I'll see you later.
You know,
Well, hello there,
Oh.
everybody. This is Velvet
I
Sky,
think she's talking to you.
and I'm here to remind you all to check out the hottest new comic of the summer.
Kind of looks like she has ears.
called
It's,
Hellbringers: The Ties That
She has
Bind
ears?
Us.
Or
And
she
I'm
looks like she has
definitely
elf
checking it
ears
out
because it's on the
because
side.
If anybody
That makes
knows
sense.
how to bring the
I don't even see her
fire,
ears.
No, that's not
it's
the
me.
top.
It'll be launching on June
I felt like I was
20th,
getting seduced
and
by
it's
video,
brought
and
to
I'm like,
you by the team of Ross, McLean,
That's
what,
you
girl?
again.
What did you say?
and Becky.
She said, "You
Brown.
girl."
My wife better not be watching this. She's gonna be like, "Who
Oh.
is this woman?" I'm like, I don't know. It was Mark May. I'll give you his address. You can go beat him up.
She's a wrestler too,
I
man.
was correct.
Hey, out of all the cameo videos I've had done for you guys,
Yeah.
what's your favorite one?
So that one right there that you just played is my favorite one, and I'll tell you why. Because when I was in the music industry, I toured with tons of awesome bands, and one of them I got to tour with or do shows with was System of a Down. So that dude that's singing makes me think it's a cross between Surge and the Dokken or the Dio singer, you know? And it's just like there's these elements that I'm like, wow, that's so neat. You know, like I love it when studio musicians can do that kind of stuff because I'm a huge 70s, 80s rock man, metal band guy, and then I loved System of a Down. So it was like a mesh of those two together, and I'm just like, when that power ballad verse comes in, and it's like, I'm like, oh, I feel like I'm at a Dio concert, and I'm like,
That's kind of what I wanted. You remember when I was looking for musicians for as long as I was?
yeah,
I was looking at like 20 a day, and then this guy just comes like he was great, man.
what's that guy from?
He's oh my god, I think it's Brazil is where he's from.
Makes
It might be Argentina. It's one of the two. McLean, it has been awesome to have you on the show tonight, my
Thank
friend.
you so much.
We're gonna have to do this again real soon. So happy that the Kickstarter got funded. I got you paid today, for
Congratulations, that's awesome.
which is also awesome. High five for that. We're gonna go ahead and call this night
Oh man,
for the end, and we're gonna play the ending. And McLean, thank you again for being on the show tonight, brother.
Thank you so much,
for
man.
with us last weekend. Thank you for everything. Period.
Anytime.
Anything, we'll always remember this show because in 40 years I'll be like, I'm gonna watch that YouTube show all the time.
Only that one time.
Have a great night, buddy.
Thanks, man.